Hello, people.
Hello, everyone. Hello, all our friends. And this is just an absolutely chaotic.
Nothing happened today, right? Nothing happened today.
Nothing happened today.
Nothing important. We just wanted to come on and say hi. But yeah,
just check in with our friends.
Yeah, just check in. Check in.
We're actually checking in on everybody's mental health.
We're like Elmo.
That's what. Yeah,
we're like Elmo, asking how you're doing.
Or like when Steve from Blue's Clues just like randomly appeared on like TikTok one day, and he was like, "Hey, friends,
how are you?"
That's what we're doing here. That's just minus the like 20-year, absence of seeing him or us, but that's all we're doing.
Okay. No, we're just kidding.
Don't check in on my mental health. Save yourself.
Okay, Cass.
Well, so, Case, do you want to start us off? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Well, so if you're joining us and somehow you have lived under a rock and somehow caught wind of this live stream and are joining us for this live stream without any knowledge as to what we're here for, the news broke today that Lewis Hamilton has, I guess now you can say, has signed with Ferrari and will be leaving Mercedes after the 2024 F1 calendar season, and will be driving in a red car starting in 2025. Yes. Casey is too stunned to speak, as well as I am.
Sarah, we're going off on a whim here, people.
This is off on a whim. I mean, this was today. Casey had texted me, I don't know what, 1:00, and you were like, "Hey, if you're free tonight, like we should probably do a live stream for this." I was like, "You're right, we should."
Yeah. But yes, Lewis Hamilton will be with Ferrari. The past 24 hours have literally been a shit show, a whirlwind. I don't know how to explain it. Last night, when you get the tweets from Will Buxton saying that there's going to be massive news that's going to drop, going to shake up the grid, you're like, what's going to be? Everyone was like, it's Carlos related. I mean, it is kind of Carlos related, but everyone's like, it's Carlos related.
Yeah, kind of.
People were saying everything. Yeah, I am running on 4 hours of sleep and fumes. But then, because I went to bed at like midnight, because I couldn't stop looking at my phone because I wanted to know what was happening, because at 7 p.m. here, which was midnight or whatever in Italy, the Italian journalists start tweeting news, and you're like, oh, this is Ferrari related. This is...
Yes.
And then you wake up this morning and all hell breaks loose when you find out that Lewis Hamilton is coming to the freaking Ferrari.
Yes. So I want to say too, this is like, you had said it literally right before we started. This is quite possibly the biggest signing that has rocked the F1 world in God knows how long.
Ever.
And I want to say too, like, it's crazy that this is, yes, we are awake, Jake. This is yeah.
I keep pinching myself.
This is like the news that we've only heard about up to this point because we're so new to the sport and everything. And it's like, we hear about all these legendary moves or signings and everything. Jake's, yep, you're reading my mind, Jake, since Schumacher went to Ferrari. Like, this is huge, and the fact that we're living through it now, and it's insane. It's crazy to think about.
And like we all thought it was a rumor. I mean, the past year it's been a rumor that Hamilton's going to go to Ferrari. He's going to be teammates with Leclerc. And you're like, no way. Yes, and we all have trust issues after being freaking catfished by the fake Ferrari admin. So I don't know what to trust ever. But yeah, it's literally insane. It feels unreal. I'm with a lot of people. I never thought he would leave Mercedes.
Yep.
I never thought he would leave Mercedes. I know Owen, do you want to talk about this now, about why he?
Yeah. So when I was looking around today, we're not just going to sit here this whole time and just kind of sit in silence. We do have a little bit of news and discussions to have, but the one thing that I saw was I did a little bit of work. Yeah. neglected my day job and stuff. Jeff, if you're listening, no, I didn't. So this is from Racing News 365. This is where I got that information. And basically it says Racing News 365 has gathered information from trusted technical sources which indicate that Loic Serra's departure has played a key role in Hamilton's decision. For those of you who don't know who Serra is, he was the head of vehicle performance at Mercedes before being poached by Ferrari for the 2025 season. So this was already a Mercedes member who had left and went to Ferrari. And I didn't copy this, so this is kind of paraphrasing, but what I read was Loic and Hamilton kind of shared the ideas of the W13 and W13 not being the right move for Mercedes. They were kind of aligned in that thought process. So with Loic then going to Ferrari and now Lewis going to Ferrari, it makes more sense now that it's not just this like chaotic move. And I keep seeing memes and things about people saying, like Charles is saying, like, welcome to hell to, Lewis and everything. I don't think it's going to be that. I
don't either.
25 Ferrari team I'm calling it now, is going to be a powerhouse. It is going to be Dream Team Central. That's what it's going to be.
That little French bald man is working. He's cooking. Fred
He's working
is
hard.
Cooking.
He's working hard.
Fred is cooking. He's poaching people from Red Bull to come over. He's poaching people from Mercedes, like you said. He's in Fred we trust. I might make a t-shirt because Fred's working hard. I also think Elkin had a play in this as well from Ferrari because apparently he met Lewis at an event and they just kept talking, and that was slowly in the works. There are so many moments and Easter eggs that you can look back on, even from the new Peroni ad from a few days ago that Ferrari put out. That just make me, now I go back and I'm like, this has been in the works for a while. You think about how yes, Jake, and forever we trust. Gonna get the t-shirt.
There's the shirt right there.
With a silhouette of Fred's head, so it's just like a arch of a head. You think back to the podium, I believe it was Singapore, when no one from Mercedes came when Hamilton was there, but who was celebrating with him?
Yes.
Ferrari.
Ferrari was.
Yeah. Yeah, Ferrari was there. The Peroni ad, did you see this? Did you see this picture?
I did see this. I'm conflicted on this, but go ahead. I'll tell you why.
No, I think it's a coincidence, but it also is, I think, a very, very strange coincidence.
Yes. Yeah.
There's like a car in there for a legendary Ferrari driver that used to race with 44. Obviously, now we know.
Right.
Yeah. And then there was one other thing, and I'm totally drawing a blank. Go ahead. While I think of it, keep going.
Well, I was going to say, just like the 44 car, I did see a couple different tweets and news things, people kind of calling out that, okay, yes, it's funny. It looks funny that it's a red car and it says 44 on it, but Casper. There was this, yes.
Yeah,
Casper,
that
you're
video.
Right. There was a Monaco drama last year.
Yes, and then there's the video from the press conference when rumors first started about Hamilton going to Ferrari, and they flat out asked Leclerc, what do you look for in a teammate? And he laughs and says, hello, Lewis. That's how Ferrari should have announced this announcement. That's all they should have posted. Yeah. Hello, Lewis. That would have been perfect. But yeah, that. Oh, also, who ever thought the disqualification in Austin, Texas would have changed the entire grid for 2025?
Literally.
They are bonded by the disqualification with that stupid plank rule. Yeah, it's wild. I'm here for Charles and Lewis. I like it.
I'm all in on it. I think it's fantastic.
It's from Sarah S. Yeah, we did. Sorry, we were reading comment. Sarah asked, when do we think there'll be an official statement from Lewis? Maybe soon, but I don't know. I feel like it could also be not until later on in the season. That's the point I'm going to talk about. I'll bring up Carlos now. We can go into him. Jake literally just commented as well. I agree. Yeah, I think people are like, where's that post they put for Carlos is like awful. They literally just said one more season together or one last season. People are like, where's the goodbye message? Where's the goodbye message? They still have a whole year.
Yeah.
There is literally
goodbye message will come.
Yes, next December when the season's over.
Yeah.
There's literally an entire year where they can do a farewell tour. When they go to Barcelona and Spain, when they have Carlos's hometown race, they can do a goodbye tour. When they're in Monza, they get to do a goodbye. Like, they will post a long, lengthy goodbye message. They're not just going to be like, see ya, Carlos, and kick him out the door.
Yeah, they'll do justice for him in saying goodbye and everything. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think they're going to say anything about goodbye right now because
no, why would they? It's stupid.
Their mindset right now also is kind of pivoting to, okay, how do we keep Carlos as committed to this team in his last season as much as we can? You know,
I mean, the same could be said for Mercedes. They just posted literally their press release statement in the caption with a picture of Lewis.
Yeah.
No goodbye message and if anything, Lewis is the one that deserves a goodbye tour within Mercedes. He's been there for ever. Yeah, I mean, it's going to make for a very fun and awkward season, maybe for the two teams.
This is to me is why silly season is so weirdly placed to me, is because you get moments like this where it's, hey, I'm already signed to drive for a different team following this year, but I'm still here. Like there's going to be the people on Mercedes now that nothing Lewis says will ever convince him now that he's 100% committed to Mercedes for this team, for this season. You know, he can say hey, I'm still all in on us. Like, I want us to do as well as we can this season. I'm going to push to my limit to ensure that happens. But there's going to be team members and media press members and everything that are like, well, not really, because no matter how good or bad we do, you're out. Like, you're gone next season, you know?
Yeah.
It's just...
No, I did. They were saying during the Sky broadcast, I'm scrolling back because I'm trying to remember who said it. I didn't quote it, though. They brought up a good point. They're going to start withholding information from Hamilton. They're going to start withholding information from Carlos. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And we've talked about it on the podcast before. I said you were going to out me, but I'll out myself. Everyone knows how I feel about Carlos. And the way he behaved this past season when there was no issue like this, he wasn't just kicked out. So I would be very, very interested to see how he behaves, quote unquote. Don't kill me, people. Don't kill me. Yeah. How he behaves during the season.
Is he
going to listen to the strategy all the time? Yeah.
It's a legitimate question because, again, it's the same thing that it was, between Charles's news that we just talked about in our latest episode that is coming out soon, and now this, he has a little bit of a right to be annoyed, even if he did know that it was going to happen. I want to take this and kind of segue into the discussion I wanted to have of like, who is all affected by Lewis's departure? And I'll start with Carlos, because we know that we've had the rumors of Carlos going to Audi when they join the team, when they join the league in 2026, right? We've seen that before. Everyone's pretty already aware of it and everything. This is exactly the point that I'm trying to make, Sarah, is like, what?
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going there.
Where does he go for the 2025 season? Because as it stands right now, he's just taking a year off. There's nowhere that he's going to be for the 2025 season if, let's say, everything we know to be true is going to happen. Hey, Carlos is going to Audi in 2026. We know that 2024 is going to be his last season. What is that 2025 window? Like, my Delulu math is predicting Carlos in the Red Bull. No. Oh, God. Oh, no.
Sorry, Casper. He just shut you down.
Oh, gosh.
No, I agree. And I think that's what people are freaking out about, because right now he has no seat for the 2025 season. But I've said before, he's going to be okay. I think he's going to get the seat. I don't know. Right now, you would think the easiest thing is they just did a driver swap, but I think Carlos and George and Mercedes together would be a train wreck. A train wreck.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. People are in the chat. Sarah said, I kind of agree. We will not say their other real name.
Yeah.
Their new name.
Fair.
But yeah, that might be also the easiest, because then he's there when it turns into Audi, if that makes sense.
That's true. Yeah.
But I also don't know. Someone brought up a good point. Did I scroll all the way? Yeah, I did. I should have brought up a screenshot of the notes about them being on Sky Sports today. They said that. Can you talk? I'm going to look up threads, because I just lost my train of thought again.
Sure. So the other thing, the part of this other conversation, like I said, who is overall affected by Lewis's decision? We kind of covered Carlos already. You know, what is he going to do? What happens there? But this is the good and bad thing of silly season, and when drivers make a move like this, it's like this self-perpetuating wheel of seats being emptied and seats being filled. So like, you have Lewis leaving Mercedes, right? So now that makes George number one driver at Mercedes, and then you have that open seat. Okay, who fills that open seat? So then you go to Williams, because that's kind of the farm team for Mercedes. You say, okay, Alex Albon. Let's go that Alex Albon route. He gets pulled
dream
up to Mercedes, which is great, right? I would love to see that. But what that does again is opens up a seat at Williams. Who goes to Williams? Is somebody gets signed? Is there? Well, who? What?
Kimi Antonelli. He's gonna be an F2 this season. He's like Mercedes' next coming of Lewis Hamilton, their version of Max Verstappen. He'll be 18 if they bring him up to. He's so young. He's literally 18 now. So I could see if Alex goes to Mercedes, which seems like a very reasonable answer, a very easy pick, and I think George and Alex could either work extremely well or could not. But yeah, then they could bring Kimi Antonelli to Williams. I've also seen this.
You know what? I thought of this earlier today too, as I was doing my little bit of research, and I don't know. See, this is the issue. This is the point of discussion, is like, if you start moving drivers around, you either are bringing back somebody who has driven before and has not, or is not driving now, a la Liam Lawson, or you have to bring up somebody from F2 to fill in that subsequent hole from just drivers just swapping around.
This is why this silly season is going to be one for the books. I've said it now. Netflix, if you're listening, you better be listening. If you're watching, we need a Drive to Survive silly season spinoff, because you can have a whole 8-part documentary on this silly season. It started today. This silly season literally started today.
It started today, and it started with the biggest signing in, like we said, recent
past
F1
however
history.
many years. Yeah.
You know, it's insane. So I'm so intrigued as to where Carlos ends up. Like we said, most likely it could be Sauber, and then when they convert to Audi, when they convert to Audi in 2026.
So I remember what I was going to say earlier. Karun, during the Sky Sports broadcast today, which was very great. They had everyone on. They had Martin in there, Natalie, Karun. They called in Jensen Button, who apparently lives in LA, which was very shocking. I didn't know that. So Karun doesn't think Audi makes the most sense for Carlos.
Really?
Because they won't be at the front of the pack right away. It's going to take them
okay.
a few years, but I think his thought process was, Carlos, wait, I like this. Please, everyone make your predictions and write them down.
Yeah, please. Please do.
I think Carlos is going to want to be in a top team, and Audi is not going to be a top team right away. When Audi comes in 2026, they're not going to be a top team. Unless they're
No, you're right.
Brown GP and shock the world. They're not going to be finishing first. I kind of agree with Karun. I don't know if that's the smart decision for Carlos. I know everyone's saying he's going to Audi because of his dad's ties with Audi.
Right.
But still, I kind of like Aston Martin.
Oh. That kind of then ties into the other rumor that we saw, that apparently Alonso's inner circle got in touch with Toto Wolff's inner circle.
Ridiculed on Threads for posting the wrong source. Jesus Christ.
Oh, please. Everything is hearsay at this point. Like, it's amazing to see, like, again, like, it's just how much one person leaving a team affects the rest. One move affects everybody else. And it's like, now, like, when you sent that message earlier in the Discord today and you were like, oh God, now Alonso's in the mix. And it was the rumor of, he's talking to Mercedes, but he wants to see the progress that Aston Martin makes in 2024. And it's like, oh shit. Like, it's insane. But yeah.
It is literally a drama, rumor, domino effect. And I saw someone post today, I retweeted it on Twitter. Someone said, we will find a way that this connects back to Sebastian Vettel's retirement, Alex Albon's appendicitis.
Yeah,
everything keeps tracing
the butterfly effect will get backtracked all the way to that. Yeah, 100%.
I do like Alonso. When I think about it, Alonso and Mercedes kind of make sense if they can get their shit together and get a good car. Also, when you think about the hints that we were getting with Lewis and Leclerc, you have to think about Casper. Yes, this is true.
This is all good. Yeah, it 100% is. Yeah.
It's 100.
We'll just blame him.
I think Alonso's been spending a lot of time with George Russell. George Russell and him have been partying 2 years in a row in New Year's.
That's fair.
There's this new video that just came out recently of them playing, I think it was like ping pong and stuff on a plane. Or some game on a plane.
Yeah.
Normal
people activities.
Yeah, normal rich people activities. They're kind of, I think they could work. But then, and Casper, this is where we're going to fight.
Oh, no.
I think it was Natalie. She said Oscar Piastri at Mercedes. And I kind of like it.
I kind
of like it.
I would be very upset about this, but I don't hate it though. Like, it's not like that move happens and it's like heartbreaking to, me, but heartbreaking to some other people.
People in the comments don't like this.
Yeah. Wow, we triggered some people.
Wow, you're all on Owen's side on this one.
That's good. It's just, I wouldn't hate it, but at the same time, it's just because I want to see McLaren succeed, and I've been on here before saying that Lando and Oscar are the best driver pairing before, as of right now, who will remain to be seen when we get to the 2025 season. But I do agree with that, Lindsay. Zach, I don't think Zach will ever let that happen. I don't think he would ever let go of Oscar and or Lando before he's never letting go of Lando. Do something majorly wrong. But
I mean, his contract is until 2026. I had to look it up to Oscars. I don't know if he has one.
I'm a McLaren fan because of Oscar Piastri, so if he leaves, I'll be annoyed. That's fair. That's completely understandable. Come join the McLaren family.
Yeah, it would be interesting. but I don't know. I thought that was a shocking one. I cracked up during the Sky thing today when Jensen gave his pick of who he thought was taking the seat, and he goes, "Well, I mean, I do have a crush on my ex-teammate," talking about Alonso. He thinks Alonso going to Mercedes will make the most sense, but he also declared he has a crush on his ex-teammate. So
there you go.
That he knew when to drop that line because it went under the radar because everything else was blowing up. He knew when to drop it.
He was trying to steal the limelight with that line, but he knew that it also would just skate underneath all the other news, which, speaking of things getting overshadowed by this, poor Haas tomorrow.
I know.
He's just getting completely overshadowed by him. Literally had a legal battle for him. That's true. Yeah. It's
Casper, this is so true. Is Pierre wanted anywhere?
Yeah, that's a good question. That is a good question. I have my other kind of discussion I wanted to have for this, and I don't think you're going to like it that much, Casey. And I'm going to ask the question. I want to get your reaction.
Okay, let me.
And then I want you to hear me out.
Oh no, okay? I'm not going to like this guy.
I think it's there's a legit case here, right? There's a legit case. So there's a legitimate question.
Am I going to cry?
Who at Ferrari now for the 2025 season is the number one driver?
Okay, no, this is a conversation, but let me hear you. I've taught this conversation multiple times today, but let me hear you.
Okay. So here's my thing, right? You have Charles. We'll start with Charles, right? So, all good things, Casper. All good things. Charles Leclerc is loved by the Tifosi. He is loved by Fred, right? And has literally been the poster boy for Ferrari and for pretty much F1, for however many years now, which I get it doesn't partake into him being a number one driver, but through all the confusion with Charles or with Carlos and everything, and for all the races where they're like, we're going to go back and forth, blah, 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 all this stuff. Chillis is good. Chewy, Star Wars, there you go. Like, Charles, to me, has always kind of been, like, the de facto number one driver for Ferrari. Like, it's always just been, like, Charles is their go-to man, and he's in there, and him signing this multi-year contract kind of highlights that, like, hey, we're locked in for you for the long run. We want you to stay here. We want you to be our number one driver, right? But then enter Lewis, right? First of all, it's Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I know. It's Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Sir Lewis Hamilton. That's a point in and of itself.
He's knighted.
He is a 7-time world champion.
Asterisk. Some people will say 8.
He's 7/8-time world champion.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the greatest drivers that is the greatest driver that we've had the privilege to ever watch on the track. He's fantastic. Yeah. And here's a killer for me, right? Here's the final nail in the coffin. 8. There you go. Yeah. Even last season, in a car that he hated and didn't perform well, he still placed higher in the standings than
going back to Casper's comment because it's true.
You're right. But that's the point where it's like, I understand the question comes off like as soon as you say it, you're like, oh, well, it's immediately Charles. But the moment you give it like some more like little bit of under the surface level thought, you're like, oh shit, like who is it? Like who will it be? And I'm very confused about it. I see Casper put another comment in here saying like Lewis is there for a mentorship development role. And I do agree with that. But I kind of going off what Casper's saying here, God forbid Ferrari puts out a good car in 2025. There's a shot that they both go for Drivers' Championship and Constructors' Championship. So it's like, at what point does the confusion kind of start over again of like, okay, who's number one?
I agree with what you're saying. I also, when you look back at Ferrari, they never right away say, this is our number one driver.
Right.
They let them normally battle it out. I think even when Seb was with Leclerc, they wasn't like blatantly like Seb's our number one. I mean, Leclerc ended up doing pretty well then against Seb.
Right.
So I do think in that aspect, they're not going to flat out say it. We do know that Leclerc knew about this before he signed his new contract.
Okay, I missed that today. Okay.
Whether they told him you're not going to be number one or you're going to be number one, but we're bringing in Lewis Hamilton, we don't know. We can assume what we want to assume, but I don't know if it gets ugly. I don't know if it gets ugly. I don't know if it ends bad like how Drive to Survive portrayed Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. I don't know if it gets that bad. I do think we've seen that's for this year's car. We don't know what the 2025 car is going to be. I also look back at both of their relationships with Fred. They both have a history with Fred. Like, Hamilton grew up with Fred. Charles grew up with Fred. I think that's going to play a huge role in this decision or this work relationship between the three of them as well. I don't know. I don't know if it was like one of his demands, like he wants to get the 8th with Ferrari. So I don't know. But again, we said they could make a car totally towards Leclerc, but Hamilton can make it work. I think
Hamilton could still drive it.
Yeah, Hamilton can still drive it. It's totally a Fred love triangle, and I'm here for it. But yeah, so I don't think there's going to be a blatant 1 and 2. But I can maybe see it working better than Carlos and Charles worked in that way.
Off of certain clips and just like little like post-race interactions. There you go. I definitely think that Charles and Lewis have a better standing relationship than him and Carlos might. You know, like him and Carlos were friendly, but you always could tell there was that little bit of animosity.
Yeah.
You know,
I said this is an important reminder. They were teammates and coworkers at best. They're not Charles and Pierre. They're not BFF. But yeah, I do think they do appreciate each other. I mean, Leclerc has said that one of his, like, he looks to Hamilton as inspiration. And Hamilton has said if he would sit in the stands and cheer for a driver, he would cheer for Leclerc. So I think, I also agree.
That's a great point from Kari as well.
Oh, if Max feels any added. Yeah. Ooh. This upcoming season, I don't think so. If anything, they'll run away with it. But yeah, does Max feel any pressure at all? What clips?
Definitely. Their personal relationship, like you said, Lewis would cheer for Charles if he had a choice, and Charles has looked up to Lewis for
It's like how I always say with Max. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's like how I always say with Max and Charles versus Max and Lewis. Max and Lewis, I don't think liked each other while they were going head to head. Max and Charles respect each other because they literally grew up racing each other. They've been rivals since they were like 12. So I think in that aspect, Charles and Lewis will respect each other. I think it can work. I think it'll be a mentorship in some way. But at this point, a mentorship for Charles Leclerc, who's been in F1 for how many years now? It's not like he's a rookie. A mentorship when it comes to his fashion, yeah. But comes to his outfits, absolutely.
We need to see Roscoe in Ferrari red now.
I just keep picturing the content we're going to get with Roscoe and Charles Leclerc. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah. We need to see Roscoe and Ferrari red now. That's what we need.
Yeah.
I love. What did I hear? What did I hear this morning? I was watching something.
Heard so many.
It may have been the report of the reporter standing outside of Mercedes.
Rachel
factory
Brooks.
that you had sent. Yeah, that you had sent me. Somebody had said that, like, and I didn't realize this, that Lewis drives Ferrari as his personal car, and now he'll drive him on the F1 track. And I was like, I always like thinking about that in like personal stances. You know, it's like I'm a Nike sponsored athlete, but when I go home, I wear Adidas. It's like when I'm not in the limelight, it's cross a little remote control Ferrari, please do. I think I think that says a lot, but yeah, I mean this blew up the world today.
Well, wait, I think we need to go back to Rachel Brooks because she did break the news because she was outside. She was like a foot soldier outside of the factory today for the 10-minute meeting that they had. I wanted to be
10 minutes.
Well, apparently Toto was actually supposed to be there, but it ended up being a video call, and it was only 10 minutes long. But also I want to know, did Lewis Hamilton actually take his team paintballing and tell him the news? Because apparently there's that rumor too.
Was that a report?
Yes, that he took his team from Mercedes paintballing and told them before, and then they went paintballing.
I mean, hey, if you build up any frustration around him, that's a good way to get it out.
I said, and the paintballs were red. Yes, I wanted to bring up Toto though. That's what I want to talk about next, because I think a lot of people were under the impression that this decision was made yesterday.
Okay.
And it's not. I mean, that's not how I don't think this business works. It's not like I'm trying to think of something to even compare it to. But this has apparently been, like I said, Charles knew before he signed his contract. Carlos apparently got word of it. They said on Sky Sports today about this. So he had that in mind. I think when we all knew that the talks were going bad with Carlos, that something was going to happen between those two, and it wasn't going to continue. Keyword business. It's a business. I think because people were saying that Toto found out yesterday. Lewis called Toto and told him over the phone. Yes, I don't think maybe Toto knew this was going to happen this quick. I think the news was leaked a little bit by Will Buxton and other journalists, but
yeah,
they've been having talks for this long. Toto's got caught wind. Toto knew this was happening. There was too many parties at play to be like a freak, like, oh yeah, we're just going to sign Toto, or we're just going to sign Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari.
Yeah,
it's not some rookie like.
For Toto to be completely it's impossible for Toto to have been completely out of the blue with it, And I would, like you said, if Lewis called Toto and said, like, hey, I made this decision and everything, like, there's no way Toto didn't know, at least a tiny little bit. But yes, I'm sure he didn't think it was going to happen this fast. I'm sure he didn't think that he was going to have the entirety of the 2024 season knowing that Lewis was
on his way out,
gone, on his way out and everything. So, yeah, I definitely think there was some shock factor to Toto. I'm sure he's, now that the news is officially out to, everybody too, there's a little bit of a shock value and he's processing it, but there's no way he didn't know.
Because people were also people were resharing the video when they announced his contract extension, Lewis, just past season. People were like, what just happened in 6 months? They've been promising him a good car, and they have not been delivering. They promised him they'd be competitive, but not been listening. I also think his contract was a 1+1, so his last year he could opt out, which is what he's doing. Like, he had that contract clause that apparently is rumored to be in Leclerc and Lando's extension, that if the performance isn't there, they can say, see ya,
we're gone, we're out of here. Yeah. It's
what happened. The W14 happened. Exactly.
W14 happened. Yes.
Between the porpoising from 2 years ago, where he has the receipts, to to the W14, Lewis, and then they posted that picture of Lewis with like the pixelated background of him like in a seat test, and he looked miserable.
He looks pissed. He looks so mad.
That's when people were like, he left and was like, see ya, and went right over to the Ferrari factory. But bouncing between
Toto should have listened to Christian about changing the car.
Change the
fucking
car.
Yeah, it's just I just bounce between like bouncing the car. You're right. like I said,
I mean, it's
I don't
shocking.
know. I don't know how much more there is to like talk about, just because it's like we haven't we haven't seen anything yet. We won't see anything until 2025. And it's like
That's the thing. People, I think, need to remember there's still a full year. Like, that's the moral of the story. There's still a full year of Carlos at Ferrari and Hamilton at Mercedes. Do you think Toto has the press release printed out?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
He's ready to roll.
Yeah. I don't know. If people in the chat, if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot them. Post them in the comments. Exactly. Lewis gave them 2 years to clean it up, and they didn't. I mean, right. I think they tried to by bringing James Allison back into his role that he originally left, because when James Allison was in that role originally, they were unstoppable. But yeah, then they weren't. Yeah, but I mean, I think for this upcoming season, Red Bull will run away, because I think there's going to be a lot of drama within other teams, especially as more silly season news breaks. But yeah, also we got a shout out to the social media admins. I posted it on Thread. Social media admins of other teams just took advantage of everything and ran with it. It was so good.
Why would they not?
So good. Red Bull posted the video of Checo and Max from like a challenge they did, and Max goes, "Oh, they're swapping drivers. They're swapping drivers." Yes, and the other drivers, Oscar and Lando had to have been together. I want to know where they were, because they're back and forth. Good.
I did see they're there. Yeah.
But it was all the McLaren drivers. You even had IndyCar McLaren drivers. You had IndyCar drivers in general. It was everywhere. But yeah, then you had Alpine posting, like, find someone that looks to you the way Lewis looks at our drivers. And then you had, I'll give it to him, Visa Cash App, Racing Bulls, VCarb took advantage and posted a video of like Daniel Ricciardo, and like, slow news day, here's a video of, and people were like, no, it's not the time. And they're like, but everyone loves Daniel Ricciardo. Ryanair was also very disrespectful.
Ryanair's video, I literally was like screaming, laughing. Like, I was like, oof.
Yes. We will always remember where we were on February 1st, 2024. The day Lewis Hamilton.
Wait, I'm just seeing this now. Did you see Roman Grosjean's?
Oh, yes!
I'm just seeing this now. This is top tier response.
It's the best. Roman took a shot, and I posted, I said, Toto Wolff, you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing.
To do the funniest fucking thing ever.
I've never, like, I was like crying. I've never laughed so hard at an Instagram post, but it was so perfect. And like the timing was so perfect, because everything like died down a little bit, and then boom, he was like, here's my Instagram. That was a wonderful post. Let me just scroll through. I can't.
Oh, so this is what I wanted to comment too. So back in, let's see, March 17th, 2023, right? Ferrari posted a picture on their Twitter account, I'm sure other places as well, of Lando and Charles saying 1624 or 1644. My bad.
But you meant Lewis. You said
Lewis,
Lando.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, sorry. Lewis and Charles, right?
Sorry. We noticed the drop, which is very, very expensive.
Yeah. F1 News Live commented that same day and said, dream team, but won't happen. Never say never, though, right? They then posted the picture from today and said, never say never, in like with an exclamation point next to it. And I commented on it and I said, prove to always keep your dreams alive. Like, it's insane. Like,
we had comments before, as Justin Bieber has famously said, never say never. Because
never say never.
There was also another clip. I don't know who the reporter is now. He was interviewing George, And he literally asked George about, like, what if Lewis goes to Ferrari? And George is like, I don't think it'll happen. And he retweets the video and he goes, and they said I was crazy. Yeah, they knew in Monaco. They have known these talks have been happening for a very long time. I said way back when in the middle of the season, when rumors first started about when we were going to find out Charles' contract extension, and there was nothing about Carlos, that's when Carlos's behavior changed. I will stand by that. Stand by that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the moment. Yeah, I'm so excited for Lewis and Charles brand photos. It's
gonna be good.
So good. I also want them to do. Ooh, we talked about when do we get a statement from Lewis? When do we get a joint statement? I'm calling it now, and if this comes true, I'm clipping this. Okay, we get a joint statement from Lewis and Charles, and it's a collab on a song.
Oh,
I posted this on Threads today. But that would be one of the best ways. Or they do another like iconic joint collab post because they broke the internet with that first one. And it was perfect. I feel like they have to do another collab post at this point. They like do we think Lewis will be more interactive with the media? Yes.
Yeah,
I think so.
100%.
I mean, Ferrari, I don't think no, I think Ferrari gives them pretty yeah, would be has to be a music angle. It just has to be. I also Natalie Pinkman said today during the Sky thing how good this was for Ferrari, the brand. Did you see how much their stock it? Stock it. You're gonna hear first, everyone. How much their stock rocketed up.
Their stock value like increased like tenfold. It's insane, and it just goes to show like how much of a effect he has. Lewis Hamilton has on motors, the auto world in general. Like
it's the Sir Lewis Hamilton effect. But yeah, I think him being because I know he wanted to continue with Mercedes and get like some supervisory role or like some sponsorship role later on once he retired.
Right.
I think now he might get that with Ferrari, and that might be. I mean, if he drives a Ferrari, like you said, which I can't wait to see his customized Ferrari. That car will
it's gonna be so
sick. Good. Yeah, I think I think all around this move is kind of crazy in a good way.
It's crazy. It's fun. We're kicking off silly season with an absolute banger of a deal, and what better way just to kind of come in and kick off the month of February? I mean, we get preseason testing. We get a race at the end of this month. Like
we get car launches. We're back.
This is going to be
so true. You know, it's a big deal when your non-F1 friends are sending you stuff. And I literally just had this before we started. Jenna sent me an Instagram story, and I posted it. It says, for people who are confused right now, this is the Formula One equivalent of Zayn leaving One Direction. And that's the best way to describe it.
I saw people making comparisons to European soccer, like trying to put hey, it would be if Lionel Messi went here.
Today. Like it was transfer day for football, and the F1 took over the news.
It's
Lewis Hamilton said, "I don't care about football."
Lewis Hamilton.
But the best is when I saw Mom earlier. She was like, "What's going to happen with Carlos?" Like, Mom.
That's when Mom's asking questions about.
If I watch
not even she was saying like because you had sent the picture in our family group chat earlier, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I saw that." But the fact that she's like asking the question of like, "Oh, well, what's going to happen to the other driver?" It's like, yeah, that's
exactly.
Good. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
This is for us as Philadelphia Flyers fans. This is comparison to when we knew it was coming when Giroux got traded away. This is huge.
This is big. Like I said,
huge.
Fucking hell of a way to kick off the season. Lewis taking the world by storm, and just I love it. I have like really like nothing else to say other than this is like when Ron said I'm taking my talents to South Beach and left Cleveland. Yeah. Like
people started burning jerseys.
This is a mega star move, and I'm already kind of at the point where it's like, let's just get the 2024 season over with so we can see this come to fruition. Like, I want to see Lewis.
I've seen people saying, can we just skip to 2025? Can we just skip to 2025? Yeah. I also want to say one thing. They were talking about how Lewis is loved by the Tifosi. When they go to Monza, he's not getting booed.
Yeah.
People are cheering for him. I think this will be fine. Can you imagine? I'm going to say it now. I'm going to hot take. Can you imagine if he wins at Silverstone in the Ferrari?
Oof. Oh, boy. Oh, my God.
Can you imagine?
That makes me a little bit afraid. That scares me a little bit.
I don't know how Silverstone crowd would react. I also have a feeling I feel like Lewis Hamilton would help and make sure Charles Leclerc gets that Monaco win. There would be teamwork there. I think there would be teamwork there. But yeah, if he won Silverstone in a Ferrari, it's going to cause a national emergency. It's absolutely going to cause a national emergency. Also, did you see this comment?
I did. Thank you, Kari. I was waiting until we had a little break in the conversation to say thank you.
But yeah, I mean, if anyone else has any other comments or questions, we didn't want to go too long since it was so impromptu, but it ended up being pretty good. I was scrolling through threads. I don't think there's really anything else, even though I feel like I've posted 25 billion times today.
I'm sure you have.
You know, like when you used to get like a tweet limit on Twitter, I felt like I was going to get that on threads because I posted like too many times. But I haven't like live posted a race in so long, and I felt like that's what I was doing. From last night,
it's
when
trying to keep up
Will
to
Buxton posted some cryptic tweets, and you know what my first thought was? I said, this is giving me that rumor we never heard about.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to think, is this the rumor?
It has to be. Because what did he tweet that day when he said that? Didn't he say, like, I just heard, like, a bomb?
He heard, like, some crazy rumor that I feel like was going to, like, change, but everyone assumed it was with Alonso.
No, this is 100% it. This is 100% it.
And this has to be it because it was right near the end of the season. Yeah, I don't want to know my screen time from today. It's probably disgusting.
Yeah, I don't want to look either.
But yeah, no, I made me think back because I was like, we're never actually going to find out what Will Buxton is talking about. One, it's Will Buxton, so like I didn't know what to believe. But then two, I was like, it's this rumor. It's the rumor we never heard about. But yeah, now I can rest now. I can go to bed.
I'm going to sleep after this. I
literally
took a lot out of me today.
I had a headache on the way home. I was like, I think I'm like dehydrated because I really like didn't drink water.
You probably were, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy we okay, I'll look at my screen time now while we're on.
I'm not looking at it. It's not going to be as bad as yours, but I'm not looking at it.
Can I look at just today?
You should see a report from today.
Wait, where do I find it?
While you look at that, though, thank you for everybody for joining us tonight.
Yes.
On our impromptu come hang out and talk about this radical move in the F1 world. Thank you so much for being here. She's got it.
No, not yet. I have to find the...
I'm setting the over-under at...
Oh, it's not as bad as you think.
I'm setting the over-under 4.5 hours. Just on threads. Are you doing just on threads?
I can do just on threads in my total.
Let's do just on... I'll set the over-under just on threads at 4.5. And I'm taking the over on that.
Okay.
And then...
What's it called? I was on my computer at work, so that's why it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah, you'd have to look at your...
I probably should, like,
you'd have to look at your max screen time, yeah.
Well, no, I don't use a Mac at work. Okay, but my total screen time for today is 12 hours and 42 minutes.
Okay. That's not not terrible.
My Threads is 2 hours and 44 minutes.
Oh, that's on my God, that's nothing.
Yes, the group chat is worse. I also have over almost like 3,000 notifications. But I think if I'm taking this and my computer, it's probably close to 4 hours or 5.
Yeah, that feels about right.
Yeah. Instagram today, 2 hours and 27 minutes. Yeah, 12 hours just on my phone.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Yeah, it says literally for social, it says 10 hours and 10 minutes.
See, that makes sense.
Just for social.
That's just for today.
Yeah.
10 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Kari, you were on TikTok for 26 hours?
Kari, that's unhealthy. You should get that figured out. I can't promise anything good, but we can try to help you as much as we can.
What's pickups?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, I picked up Threads at least 7 times per hour. That's what that means. I just opened it.
Picked up might be like you had your phone down, and when you picked it up and then opened Threads, you might have had a notification from Threads, and you might have picked up your phone and opened it right then and there. Because Apple has a gyroscope in it. The phone has a gyroscope in it, so it knows when it's being picked up.
We're so bad. I'm so sorry. You could have told us that so much longer ago.
Harry, wow, we're awful. We're bad.
And we're the worst because people pronounce our last name so wrong all the time.
Yeah.
When at one point my phone was on the portable charger because it was going to die at like 10 a.m., 12. Yeah. I could just look over and it was just like this.
See, that's
notifications wild. Are just going. Thank you.
I second pedal to oak up that mispronunciation. Thank you. That feels right.
I think if it's every time we pronounce her name wrong, we get to 30 seconds for Ocon.
There you go.
We pronounce it wrong a lot. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so I feel like this is a good spot to end. I don't know if there's really any.
I have nothing else.
I don't either.
I'm gonna stick to the Discord and stick to news tonight. See if anything else kind of comes out. But I think we're done for the day.
Just when you think you're going to get them on Threads, Lewis Hamilton can't even bring them over to Threads. You'll have to go over to Threads to see Hell's pictures of her building her McLaren Lego.
Yeah, I do have to get over there to check on that.
But yes, thank you so much for joining us for this impromptu, very last-minute live stream.
I'm enjoying Ferrari. Maybe.
But yes, so thank you so much for joining us. As always, everyone here follows us on our socials, so thank you. If anyone new watches this once it's posted, please give us a follow on our Instagram and Threads. It's been at the bottom and over on Twitter. We will be back next week recording on our normal time, and our new episode that we recorded literally on Tuesday will be out probably tomorrow or so it'll be that where we cover Leclerc and Lando's announcements. We preview the car launches for Haas, Stake, and Williams that are coming up. We also talked about random weekly news that went on, so give that a listen once it's out. We'll post like always. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. That means a lot.
Wow, we don't deserve that after just being so mean to you. Do not deserve that, but thank you.
Thank you so much. But yeah, we will see you all over on social media. Maybe not tonight. I'm going to take a screen time break and read a book. But yes, we will be back next week. Thank you.
Thank you.